Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports Talk back in the video today. And today, the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Minnesota Timberwolves 118 to 103. Good win for the Thunder to get the 2-0 lead and another dominant win, a 15-point win. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander outstanding once again, 38 points, 8 assists, 3 steals. 12 for 21 from the floor tonight for SGA. Much better efficient shooting night for SGA. And you can look over the other side as well with Anthony Edwards and say the same thing with what he did tonight. And, the fact that Anthony Edwards, and I think this was a big reason of them outscoring the Thunder by 7 points in the fourth quarter was Anthony Edwards. I mean, Anthony Edwards in the fourth quarter had 8 points. And that doesn't even include the field goals he missed in the fourth quarter. And the reason I bring up the misses is because him missing shots in the fourth quarter is a lot better than him not taking shots in the fourth quarter like he did in Game 1. And that's what we saw from Game 1, but we saw a much more aggressive Anthony Edwards in the fourth quarter. So I think both of the two teams' superstars in this game tonight, Edwards and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, played a great game and much better than their Game 1 performances. Look, I'm not pointing at SGA and saying he had a bad Game 1, but shooting-wise, you look at SGA, he did have a bad shooting Game 1 performance. I think the second half, you don't look at the second half and say SGA was bad, but that first half was horrendous, and this was a complete game for SGA where you look at it, and he just looks amazing. 12 for 21, which is better. It's more than 50%, and almost perfect at the free throw line on 15 attempts. And there might be a couple fouls that were embellished, sure. And look, is he shooting a lot of free throws? Of course he is. But a lot of the fouls are he's actually getting fouled. That's like, it's like people get upset he goes to the free throw line a lot. I get it. It's a little annoying to watch at times too. But if you know basketball and you look at some of these plays where he's getting hit or pushed or slammed, most of these are fouls. I mean, he went to the free throw line a total of, one was an and one. So he went to the free throw line. He had 8 trips to the free throw line tonight. I would say probably about 6 of those were genuine fouls. So maybe 5 at the least. So sure, maybe some of those free throws are he shouldn't be shooting, but a good chunk of them, I would say more than half, were actually fouls. But it still was an amazing performance. I mean, there was only one player on both teams in these 2 games tonight that had more steals than him. No one had more steals than him. He had 3 steals. No one on their team, on the Thunder's team, had more steals. And we saw it was Jaden McDaniels. Sorry, I was right with what I originally said. No one had more steals tonight than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I was looking at Jaden McDaniels. He had 3 blocks, and no one had more blocks than Jaden McDaniels. He was excellent with shot blocking tonight, but I was looking at his 3 blocks and thinking that was 3 steals. So no one had more steals than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. No one had more blocks than Jaden McDaniels, though. He had a great game tonight, and so he had a terrific game. And another guy who played really well, was Jalen Williams. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 12 for 20 from the floor. Much better shooting night. He shot 7 for 18 in Game 1. Much better tonight, shooting 12 for 20, 2 for 6 from 3. Chet Holmgren was fantastic tonight, 22 and 4 with 2 assists. 9 points for Lou Dort with 9 points for Alex Caruso, 4 for 7, 1 for 3 from 3. Dort just got selected. He had 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. Dort just got selected to all defensive team for the first time in his career. He deserved that, though. Dort deserved an all defensive team. He's never been rewarded for his amazing defense in his career. That is crazy. But congratulations to Dort for that. Cassandra Wallace had another great game and another game with a lot of minutes, with 28 minutes off the bench, 8 points, 4 assists. And so let's get to Minnesota. Julius Randle did not play 1 minute in the fourth quarter. 32 minutes in the game still, 6 points, 5 assists, 5 rebounds. I don't blame Chris Finch. Randall was playing off tonight. It's one of the first games I've looked at Randall in a while and seen him play this bad, because you look at how good he was in the series prior and game one of this series against the Warriors. You look at the Warriors series, you look at the Lakers series, how good he's been in those series, and then game one, he had 20 plus. So to see him struggle like this, it felt weird, but it is what it is, and we'll see if he can bounce back going back home. But like I said this before, this is a harder matchup for Randall, if you look at it. These last two series, he's been playing the Warriors and Lakers. I'm sorry, those two teams have no size. The Lakers, they don't have a center. Jackson Hayes was sure he was starting in the starting lineup, but he didn't play more than 8 minutes in any of those games. Lakers, the tallest guy they've got out there at times is either Rui or LeBron. Look at the Warriors. In their starting lineup, their tallest guy is 6'9" Jimmy Butler. Draymond is at the center position at 6'5". There's no size in the last two series that this Timberwolves team has played, and that's why Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle, there's a lot of success for those two guys in the last two series. Now it kind of changes with their matchup, because now you're playing 2 7-footers and Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, and that makes it harder. So speaking of Hartenstein, he had 6 and 8 tonight. I didn't mention him. That's really it for the Thunder's players tonight. I mean, Kenrich Williams was really great in game one. He only played 2 minutes tonight, and he was so good in game one, shooting perfect from the floor, to the point where Charles Barkley has to the hills number 34 to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But let's get to the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards was amazing, 32 points. Surprising, only 1 for 9 from 3, but Edwards did a great job of getting to the rim. Outside of his terrible three-point shooting, Edwards shot 11 for 15 from his mid-range shots and shots in the paint. He was 7 for 10 from the free throw line as well. He had 9 rebounds and 6 assists tonight. Mike Conley, another off game, only 3 points, 1 for 6. Rudy Gobert, 5 points, 9 rebounds, 2 for 5 from the floor. 22 points for Jaden McDaniels. Like I said, he was amazing. I talked about Randall's struggles. Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Sure, he wasn't the best player in his family tonight in this game, but he was amazing for his team tonight. 17 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 5 for 8 from the floor, 3 for 4 from 3, and 4 for 4 at the free throw line. Naz Reid had 10 and 8, much better for him than compared to game one. He shot terrible in game one. Dante DiVincenzo, a little bit better than what he was in game one, 8 points, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. He shot like 3 for 14 in game one. So yeah, we'll see what happens in game 3. Minnesota Timberwolves down 0-2 for back-to-back Western Conference Finals. I think if you're Minnesota, you don't want to go down 0-3 back-to-back Western Conference Finals. They did it against Dallas last year. Now, I would say it's going to be easier. I think it's much easier for this Minnesota Timberwolves team down 0-2 this year than it was last year. And it's nothing against OKC. It's actually just, I look at it in this way. Minnesota last year, they when they played the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals, their first 2 games of that series was in Minnesota. They lost the first 2 games down up in Minnesota. And they go down to Dallas, and they've got to win at least 2. They've got to win 2 games in Dallas on the road. They only won 1. Dallas won the first one, and they went up 3-0. Like, I think you look at your even though I think OKC this year is a much better team than Dallas was last year, I still look at it in this way. You'd rather be down 0-2 and have 2 games at home than be down 0-2 and have 2 games on the road. And that's what Minnesota has this year compared to they didn't have last year. They're going to be going home, which last year they're down 0-2, going on the road. And so that's where I give Minnesota the edge this year, down 0-2, to the point, being at down 0-2 last year. Do I still think, does that make me think Minnesota has a shot of winning this series? No. I don't think Minnesota could win 2 games in a row. I don't think so against this Thunder team. Look, we've seen them lose 2 games. We've seen this Thunder team lose 2 games in a row. They did it in game 2, No, we haven't. We haven't seen this team lose 2 games in a row. That's that in the playoffs. We have not seen that, and that's what, the Nuggets series, we saw them lose game 1. We saw them lose game 3. They won game 4. They lost. They lost game 6. So they haven't lost 2 games in a row in this series. In these playoffs. So that's what makes me think, okay, I don't know if Minnesota can win 2 games in a row. And they'd be the first team in the postseason of 3 teams to be able to do that. And I look at what Denver did against this Thunder team, and to me, I look back on Denver, and I think Denver deserves a lot of credit on how well they played this Thunder team, because this Thunder team looks like right now that no one can stop them. It doesn't look like Minnesota can stop them. It doesn't look like whoever comes out of the East can stop them. And Denver, you look back, and Denver was that one team that I think had a shot of stopping them, and they weren't even fully healthy. So I don't think Minnesota has a shot, but what I will say, and I think Minnesota has a great chance to win Game 3. You don't want to go down 0-3 back-to-back years, and especially in front of your home crowd. I think Minnesota likely wins Game 3, but I don't see them winning Game 4. I think OKC takes a 3-1 lead going back to OKC. That is my prediction. Let me know your thoughts on the game in the comment section, and peace out.